The following Patriots podcast is unfiltered, unapologetic, and inappropriate for younger listening audiences. Listener discretion advised, unless, of course, you're afraid to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth from Foxborough, so help me God. Fitzy, Borish, how has the offseason gone? What do the Patriots need to do next? And who do we need to grab or avoid when the draft comes right around the corner? Don't go anywhere. Six Ring starts now.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. It's all about winning, all right? Win on three. 1, 2, 3, win!
Celebrating the heroes of Foxborough's past.
Anna with a good block. Look at Vrabel. All the way. Watch the block of number 73, John Hanna.
The champions of the dynastic era.
Adam Vinatieri moves a 48-yard field goal, and the Patriots are Super Bowl champions.
The Patriots of tomorrow.
We're going to remove entitlement from our football team. We're going to earn the right to be here every single day.
And the fans whose faith never wavers. This is Six Rings and Football Things.
All right, I'm sufficiently hype and ready to rock. What's up, everybody? Your old pal, Nick Fitzy Stevens here from WEEI and WEEI.com alongside our guy, Big Bad Beau. Beau knows at Borish Sports. And this is your latest Six Rings in Football Things. We're happy to be coming to you on the Monday after St. Patrick's Day. So that's a week later. No, it's the Monday after the first weekend of March Madness. Not like any of us are really too concerned with that. And it's time to talk some football. Hasn't been much movement, hasn't been much action, traction, or dissatisfaction over the last couple of days, although your New England Patriots did have a little draft pre-party down the stadium this weekend. We'll get to what leaked out of there and what people were saying about the upcoming draft, which is just exactly 1 month away from today from Green Bay. I did not mean for that to rhyme, Beau. I apologize. On the first half of the pod, we'll get into what my guy Boris thinks about the moves the Patriots have made, the people they're interested in, or so it seems thus far, and what kind of team Mike Vrabel's putting together. Second half, we'll get into some draft talk. This guy over here is actually bold enough to say, bookmark my tweet as to how the opening of the draft is going to go. And it's that kind of confidence that brings you back to the podcast party. What's up, Beau?
What's going on, man? Happy
hey, man.
To be back. Thank you.
Always happy to have you back on the pod, man. You have been filling the timeline recently with a cornucopia of high quality, sometimes contrarian, well-informed thoughts. As always, that's why we love having you back here on the show. So before we get into what's to come and the real important work that Mike Vrabel, Ryan Cowden, and Elliot Wolf, for now, get to do in a couple of weeks, let's take a step back because we haven't had you on the pod since the tragedy that was the 2024 season came to an end. What do you think of the moves the Patriots made, the heavy dipping and big spending on the defensive side of the ball, and their pursuit of high-quality character guys on offense, which has led them to make significant improvements on stopping people from scoring, but far from massive improvements on the side where you score the ball thus far?
Yeah, overall, I'm fine with it. A couple of moves I'm not like super cool with, but we can be positive if we want. Like the Milton Williams move was like, let's go. Like I'm all for that. I don't care the cost.
Right.
Don't give a shit. Like,
yep.
Let's go. Get that guy on board and let's see what happens. Because I'm in the camp of just disrupt the QB if you can. Right. The best guy on the market was a defensive guy, so sign the best guy. If it happens to be on defense, go get him, right? Completely fine with that. I think that was the right move, 100%.
Yeah, and you're coming off of a season where everyone was talking Jalen Carter and the pressure generated by, obviously Josh Sweat, who made himself a lot of money in the Super Bowl, but so did Milton Williams, who was virtually unstoppable, whether he was on the interior, on the edge, just a nightmare up in the grill in the business of Patrick Mahomes all day long, watching his offseason upcoming free agency value go up and up and up. But that's exactly what the Patriots need, even if Christian Barmore isn't available and healthy. And if he is, and recent reports are indicating that his offseason workouts are on track and hopefully he can rejoin the team and be healthy, because I think they just rushed him back too soon last year. But everybody was throwing darts of desperation towards the tail end of the Mayo tenure, right?
It seemed like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just like, do whatever we can to win a couple games at the end here and save everyone's job. Hopefully it didn't set him back, because yeah, it did seem like a rush job. I was so stoked because it was just like one of those things like, oh great, this is a good sign for him personally,
Mhm.
medically. And it's good for my football team. So that's two birds, one stone kind of thing. But hopefully it didn't set him back again personally. Like hopefully he's nice and healthy and hopefully he can play because shit, man, that defensive front is going to be fun to watch, even with Harold Landry, which I don't even. That's the negative portion of this. I don't know about spending all that money on Harold Landry personally. I think he's like half washed and half is generous. He's just one of those guys that at this point in his career, he seems like Anthony Jennings can give you 90% of what he can give you, and for a fraction of the money. So that move. I didn't get that move specifically outside of culture and all that. And I know culture wins championships this week. It's one of those things that like it's one of those everyone like pivots. We got to follow this model. We got to follow that model. We got to follow this model. And it's like we're slowly becoming the Titans of 2022, which was one of the worst defenses as far as the pass game goes. But that's one of those things. That's like the low mark for me outside of Matt Collins. That signing is just kind of nothing to me. Do you like Matt Collins? I saw you tweeting about Matt Collins. Are you a Matt Collins guy?
I mean, I gotta be honest. Like am I a Matt Collins guy? For the unquantifiables, yes. Like, am I a get Matt Collins on the field for my football team and get him on there now? Like, no. Like that was a badass catch he made against Kansas City in the AFC Championship, and McDaniels was somehow able to ring, squeeze, and juice 57 catches and a bunch of touchdowns out of him in Vegas a few years prior. But when Mike Reese writes in his Sunday notes a week ago that right now the number one receiver would be a battle between Kayshon Boutte and Matt Collins,
That's
I mean,
unbelievable.
oh my God. I mean, just all of the freaking skull and crossbones emojis because I am dead. And as far as Harold Landry goes, look, like you said, that's a great point. Anthony Jennings is like the Aldi version of whatever Harold Landry is, like overpriced. And definitely the first guy they targeted the same way. Remember when Rex Ryan, but obviously Bart Scott was on the upswing, but remember when Rex Ryan took over the Jets and in 2009, when free agency began at 12:01, this was back before legal time.
Right?
Yeah, he was on Bart Scott's doorstep, like knocking on the door, like, here's your contract, sign it now. Let's party. So obviously Vrabel made Harold Landry a priority just because there must be the unquantifiables that the Patriots have found a way to qualify with dollars this offseason that Harold Landry brings. So if you want somebody who's just not
a lot of that was a logistic thing where he was cut so he could be signed before the window opened. And they just offered him so much money that his agent was smart enough to know that we're never going to get this anywhere else. So they took it. So yes, it is a sign that the Patriots wanted him really bad. It's just one of those things like, why did you want him that bad? And okay, like the whole Vrabel connection, fine. If it works out, it works out. It's wonderful. But I just don't see like on the football field how it makes them a better team. Over like pulling Anthony Jennings off. Like just throw Anthony Jennings on. They're both good at stopping the run. They both don't generate that much pass rush. Is it just the leadership stuff? Is that enough to move the needle? I guess we'll see. But yeah, to me that was a waste of money. But they had so much money to waste that I still kind of don't care. So I'm not really up in arms about it. I just think you could have put that somewhere else. And guys like Ronnie Stanley weren't available, but like there was a few guys, it turns out, that they could have thrown some money at, whether it was the center that they passed on. They knew
why not go get Drew Dahlman or the guard Freeze or whatever. Now, look, I understand that you're hoping, like Layden Robinson started playing better late season when he switched over to left guard. There's still some hope. Yeah, I do too. Like he actually Taylor Kyles did a nice cut up of Layden Robinson's pass pro work against the Bills in that game where the Patriots had the early lead and then blew it at the end of the season. Stop me if you've heard that refrain before. Over, I don't know, the last several years. And he looks good. And Jake Andrews, we'll see if he has anything to offer. I've already written that that ship has sailed, and I've written that those taxes have been written off.
Yeah,
That's
that's been
fine.
a while. Like it's been a while waiting on him to do anything. So it's just one of those things. Like if I don't see it, I don't believe it. He's working hard, so give him credit for that. But
Sure.
yeah, it just you have to yeah, it has to translate on the field at some point, and it just doesn't seem to be working for him. But yeah, the Andrews thing, cutting Andrews without a plan at center was just that was bizarre to me. I don't get it because there was a handful of guys you could have got ultimately. I think the Dahlman Chicago thing was secretly done before like the combine. It was one of those like open secret kind of things.
Which is
But
where
even
all
then,
of the negotiations begin. They all
yeah,
start out there at the combine over
yeah,
steak dinners and cocktails at St. Elmo's and whatnot. So
yeah.
half of the deals that supposedly get struck when legal tampering begins have already been in the works for 5, 7, 10 days.
hmm
You know, and yeah, Ronnie Stanley wasn't available, which was too bad. But I'd be curious
He would have
now
been a
to
Chief anyway. Let's be real. Like the
yeah.
Chiefs would have thrown a bag at that dude. Like they were prepping to throw money at him, and they like trading Tooney. Like they were
Mhm.
prepping to sign him, and it just he never hit the market, so they kind of got screwed and had to pivot too. Um, but yeah, Ronnie Stanley would have like he would have helped us so much. Oh my God, him and Milton Williams were like, just get those two for me, and we're good.
Yeah,
Moses
right.
on the
That's
right
would have been
side,
great. Yeah.
fucking beautiful. Like that dude, holy shit, what a signing that guy is.
Did you and now listen, I know now back to the what the Vrabros, if you will, and the guys that you used to play for him in Tennessee bring to the table, like Harold Landry, like, oh, the leadership. He's such a great guy, sets
Yeah.
the edge wonderfully. Good. Um, most like you said, most of his sacks, I know he had 9.5 last year, which was literally 50% of the sacks the Patriots had on the whole season, but some of them are
Yeah, a lot
schemed
of
up
those
and
are
are
just,
stunts and schemes
guys
and
pushing like the quarterback towards him. It's like you can do that with Anthony Jennings, just have Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, and Keon White just push the QB towards, Anthony Jennings, and he'll clean up 8 or 9 sacks too for a fraction of the cost. But go ahead, I cut
right.
you
Yeah,
off.
yeah. No, please. Yeah, like what do you make of what do you make of what do you make of like the interesting pursuit, non-pursuit, and now semi-pursuit at the wide receiver position? Like, oh, side note, the Carlton Davis signing, either he or Charvarius Ward. I wanted a reasonably overpriced second cornerback in the biggest way possible. Like
Yeah,
I think I think it's great. Like the fact now that you've got and Spillane seems like another guy where it's like, ooh, I didn't know much about you, but people keep telling me that you're Mr. Football. And when not
yeah,
to
and
say
I'm
that
cool
what
with those guys. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Like,
100%. Like they didn't send me to the Pats Pro Shop online to get me and the kids jerseys, but
no,
at the same time, like I'm gonna look forward to hoisting a beer or a triumphant fist in air when they make a sack, pick off a ball, or
oh yeah,
get the team off the field on fourth down this year. Like those are your building block football dudes. Now um, as far as their pursuit, non-pursuit, and semi-pursuit of Chris Godwin, DK Metcalf, and now Steph Diggs, what do you make of why they went so hard at Godwin and were even willing to waive the medicals versus not being interested in DK Metcalf, who again, workout videos on Twitter are awesome for likes, clicks, and preseason enthusiasm, but if they don't translate into first downs, yards, and tutties, then it doesn't friggin' matter.
yeah,
That said, this weekend, Metcalf posted a video that was borderline terrifying. It was like him running in the street shirtless, looked like he was chasing after Schwarzenegger and John Connor, for God's sakes. And then now all of a sudden, like, oh, we want high character receivers, but now they bring in Steph Diggs,
yeah.
and they're excited about like I don't. What do you make of all this? Seems like a kind of a mess.
I'm fine with the Metcalf stuff. Like the whole Metcalf thing, I was like, no thanks on that guy. Like he does 1 or 2 routes. Like he'll run 3 routes basically, and he's good at one of them. Like he's consistently good at like running post routes. Everything else is just like hit or miss sometimes, depending on the defense that's playing against him. I'm good on that. I'm good on trading a second round pick for that guy. I'm good on paying that guy $30 million or whatever he got. Like it's the money he got is just insane. T. Higgins would have been nice at that money. I was like, I'm labeled like a staunch T. Higgins hater, but I would have probably paid T. Higgins 30 million just to like get him on the team, play that X role, and just see what happens. Let every other receiver slot down. He's definitely better than Mac Hollins. I'll tell you that right now. That's a hot take. Um, what was I talking about? I'm sorry, I went off on
Oh,
tangent.
just like
Oh, DK, like who cares?
who cares about DK? You would have paid T. Higgins, but they
I probably
offered
would
all
have paid
this
T.
money. Now they offered all this money to Godwin, and I think
Mm,
he's a good football player. But
I
like
do too.
the exploded knees, the twisted ankles, and everything, and you're going
Yeah.
to waive the medicals just again to bring him in here to basically be, for lack of better phrasing, the Harold Landry of the offense.
Maybe. I think he's better than Harold Landry at this point in his career, if his ankle checks out, which it probably does. I mean, if Tampa's willing to re-sign him, then definitely they know what's going on and they're comfortable with all that. So I'm sure the ankle's fine. At least like he'll be good to go. But as far as him, like, it would have been nice, but for that amount of money, I think that's crazy. But again, we kind of have money to piss away, right? So who kind of cares? It's more about like the years. If you could get him for 2 years, I don't. What did he sign for? How many years did he sign for? Was that the sticking point? You think?
Godwin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
Godwin actually only stuck around Tampa for, I think it was 3 for 60 or three. I think it was 3 for 60 or
so
3 for 66.
three?
But he's there. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
three. Big guarantee. Obviously, like now we're going to start doing. Um, now obviously we're going to start doing all of the. We're going to start doing the whole like, well, it's a tax-free state and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
for sure.
Which matters to a certain degree, but the Patriots were willing to pay so much more that it would have mitigated everything with the millionaire's tax relocation. I'm sure they probably would have sent, a freaking moving truck down there
But do
to
we know
take.
if it was 2 years or if it was three? Like, did we
I
go
think it was
two for
three for
30?
like I think it was like 3 for 85. Like
Oh, damn.
it
Okay.
was an absurd. It was T. Higgins money for Godwin as well,
See, I
and
just don't think at that point in his career, he's like he should be getting that. I
no
mean, I understand. I'm glad they tried, and I hope they try for Steph Diggs. Like Steph Diggs, I think still has something to in the tank. Still works hard. He's a bit of a malcontent, but I think those days are kind of behind him. I don't think he's like Vikings Steph Diggs anymore, as far as that goes, or even like Buffalo, like late season Buffalo, where he was just on the sideline yelling at Josh Allen, that kind of shit. Hopefully that's all past him, but I'd take a shot at Steph Diggs. I don't care what the number is again because it's going to be like a 2-year deal, and who cares? That'll fall
right.
off the books when you're ready to pay Gonzalez and whoever. Not that we have a lot of guys to pay, but that's just one of those things you have to think about.
I just don't think like with Chris Godwin, like if you've got like quality possession receiver, it doesn't really win down the field. And like, my God, we've been now begging the Patriots in the post Gronk era to please just find anyone who can stretch the field. And if it's your tight end who's stretching the field, then you still have a lot of work to do. There's been no deep threat. You had Antonio Brown for all of a week and a half in one game in 2019. Since then, there's been nobody, nothing, nada. So,
With Tyquan Thornton, bro, we had Tyquan Thornton.
oh my God.
The dude
Honest
was
to
a
God.
legend.
Matt Groh should be locked in a closet and forced to listen to Matt Groh just say on repeat, if you want a fast football team, you draft fast players. It should just be a broken robot friggin' playing that shit over. Oh my God. So, I mean, that's it. And they gave him 11 and they gave the man 11. How dare you? And also just general note to the Patriots and everyone in football, don't draft Baylor wide receivers. They are tall, they are thin, and they have tiny wrists, and they run real fast, and they don't get football beyond the collegiate level. Just don't do it. Corey Coleman would like Mims, Thornton, Coleman, etc. Just don't do it. So I get once again, I get the unquantifiables of a Chris Godwin. Like, if you want to win on in cuts, outs, short stuff, whatever, that's great. But there's no one who's going to like stretch the field or add the element of danger. And that's where I come in with the Diggs thing. Now, look, you posted some stuff on Twitter over the weekend where Diggs doesn't like his best routes are not, goes and flies and stretching the stuff
anymore,
no, he wins within like a 20-yard radius tops, which again is where so much of the Patriots offense has existed now for literally decades, which I'm fine with. And I have zero issues. Tell me did you ever get wrapped up in the whole like, oh, he's a bad culture guy, he's a bad character, like Steph Diggs acts a bitch sometimes, you don't want him on the team? Like, to me, have somebody come in the wide receiver room with a chip on his shoulder and just be like, listen, all y'all MFers, this is how it's going to get done. And if you want targets, you're going to have to earn them past me and my one good knee.
Yeah, I think it depends on like why they're malcontent, right? Like Steph Diggs, by all accounts, is like he gets pissed off when you're not working as hard as he's working, right? That's one of those things that I'm totally fine with. If you're just coming in like you're just an asshole and like you're better than everyone talent wise, but you're not putting in the work, then that could be big, more of a problem, right? But if you're like if your big issue with the team is they're not working hard enough, then that's fine with me. Like, yeah, go for it. Like, try and light a fire under their ass. And if that's Steph Diggs, which it sounds like all the reports out of Buffalo that I recall, there could be others, was he clashed with Josh Allen because Josh Allen wasn't putting in the work like during the season. Like preseason, Josh Allen is excellent. Like he puts in a ton of work on the offseason. I wish Drake May would put in a lot of the work that Josh Allen put in early on in his career, like Jordan Palmer, that kind of stuff that like Joe Milton is doing, which I like Joe Milton. I like this is a weird aside, but like I wouldn't trade Joe Milton. That dude is putting in some serious work. At least let him put in another year's worth of work before you move him, because I think the value you get for him is going to increase. Because I legitimately think that dude is like he could be something.
Yeah. Like all the reports that came out of Tennessee were, look, he's not the smartest. He's not the the sharpest saw in the tool
He's
chest,
intuitive
right?
though. You can
And like he's not the Drake process is great. We saw how well hit and calmly he reads the field. But Drake May is still going to be your starting quarterback. Make no mistake, unless something were to happen to him. Big but. You don't just because he looked good against the scrubs for the Bills in the final game and had that sweet ass rollout left where he threw a 40-yard laser for a touchdown that didn't count. Oh, and he does backflips. Don't trade him just yet. If someone wants to give you a 4, hold on, because if he looks money and nails in the preseason again, and if he gets any reps this year, you could start inching up to where someone's like, fuck it, let's give the Patriots a 2. Like we think we may actually be like, he's like you said, he is intuitive, does have the laser rocket arm. And here we go back to this podcast feels like it's all about vibes and unquantifiables, dude. But like he's kind of got, am I wrong? Does it feel like he's got a little bit of it?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't want to turn this into like the Joe Milton like is better than Drake May portion of the podcast, because it's not what I'm saying. But like he has something, right? Like he has a gravity to him, and it's just like let that play out. I just want to see that play out, and if we can get we might be able to get a third for him this year, just because there's the quarterbacks after, I would say Tyler Shock, are just like whatever. You're rolling dice, right? And if you're going to use a third on whoever, I'm blanking on the QB's names. Thankfully, I don't give a shit about the QBs
Jackson.
this year.
It goes Cam Ward, Shadur Sanders, Jackson Dart.
Yeah, and then Tyler Shock would probably be like top of the second. But as far as like the Riley Leonards and the who's it, not Will Anderson, who's the kid from Ohio State? It doesn't matter. But Brady's going to draft him in like the 4th and turn him into a god.
Even after his shitty showing at the combine, where like
doesn't matter.
It doesn't. I know it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't.
You want to bring up Brady's picture at the combine? That skinny little kid.
His 5.51 that he ran in the 40 as well.
Yeah, like, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
you're a quarterback. Like it doesn't.
I know that was my whole thing that I told everyone here and on the radio as well. Beau, was like, do not fall in love with people's 40s and how many times people can bench 225. Like, watch them in the gauntlet when they like that, and that's what made me. Yes, anyone listening right now, I apologize. Everyone, take a shot. I'm about to say his name. That's why I fell in love with McConkey last year, because I watched all the other stuff he did. And I was like, no one's quicker. No one has better twitch. His hands are so good. He doesn't even have to look at the football. It's like when you watch people fly airplanes or do things where it's like, how are you doing that without looking? Like, it's just,
it was so obvious. Like
it's natural.
Just natural. Absolutely.
And when I heard, and when, here, there, right in the comments, right on cue, Jeff Stenberg. Hey, did we trade for Ladd yet? Yeah, you son of a bitch. By the way, a number of people are saying, like in the comment section, as we record the Six Rings live with Boer Sports, how do you know Drake isn't putting in all that work? But we don't
I
necessarily.
don't know
Yeah.
shit. I'm just saying, like, before the end of the season, I tweeted out a picture of Josh Allen talking to Drake May, and I was like, I hope he's getting Jordan Palmer's number. That's just like the guy. Like, he just
Right.
helps with like footwork without changing your whole personality, right? I think AVP was a footwork guy, but it was more about like, if you do this, 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 and this, your footwork will be fine. Whereas Palmer is more of a guy that uses like your mechanics
Hmm.
to help yourself, right? He's not trying to change anything about you. He's taking your natural ability and just like adapting it to play. So the way you plant your feet is comfortable to you, but it also you can feel it. Like you can feel just the way like your accuracy will increase. There's an article, I'll send you the link. It's I think it was by the Athletic, but it goes super in depth on just the science behind Jordan Palmer. And it's like that's a dude. Like that's a dude that
Right.
I want my young QB to talk to. And the fact that like I don't know what Drake May's doing, but the only video I've seen of him is like he was with Sam Howell and their high school quarterback coach or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That doesn't seem like the best move. Who cares at the end of the day? Because it's just one of those things where Drake May is just so fucking talented that it might not matter what he does. As long as we can surround him with decent talent, he'll probably be fine, right? But like, if accuracy is an issue, and I'm doing some accuracy work right now, just based on like I'm charting some stuff with zones, like accurate to the zones. Drake May's accuracy could be improved in certain spots. Let's just say that he's not the worst in the league by far, but he can definitely improve his accuracy. I don't know if going to the high school coach is going to improve your accuracy, or if like going to Palmer is going to improve your accuracy. I think there's history of Palmer improving accuracy. Just look at Josh Allen from year 1, 2 to year 3, 4, and 5 and beyond, like the MVP level, and he credits Palmer for just about everything.
Or as Jordan Watson, who's currently watching live on Facebook right now, says, "Whoever Mac Jones saw, just don't go to him." Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he go to Brady's guy?
Actually,
Did
he
he?
did go. He did work with not Tom House. Or is that actually who it is? I think.
It
Yeah, I
might have
think
been
it was.
House. Yeah.
I think it was House, and he was teaching him how to drive with his hips and add distance to the ball, which is great. But it was always it
Yeah.
wasn't the arm really. It wasn't the accuracy with Mac. It was the decision making, the
Yeah.
panicking,
Always.
and then being so hyper competitive. Like, you want to talk about somebody who should have just reached for a fistful of like L-theanine, like neurogum and CBD before every game, just to like
Yeah.
focus his thinking and calm his shit down. Because
Dude,
I
the
think he.
breathing techniques in season 1, that should have been a red flag. Like all that fucking remember the sideline
Oh, and
like
like
breathing
punching
techniques?
himself in the leg
Oh.
and like pinching himself. Yeah, like he literally had more hot mic F bombs than
Oh
he
yeah.
did touchdown passes in
Well, I love that shit. I'm
2023.
fine with that shit. But like, him sitting on the sideline, like doing the breathing technique and shit, like I was like, uh-oh, something's up with this guy. But
No,
like, you delude yourself. Like I'll delude myself into anything at some point. By week 1, this team's going fucking 10-7, baby. Let's go.
that's
Like
what I'm
I'll figure it
talking
out.
about. I
I'll
saw
find a
this guy.
path.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I will find it. I think 9-8 is easily on the table, and a couple good moves, and we're a draft away from going 10-7. And I think Miami is regressing a bit. The Jets obviously have some talent, but they're going to need a full year to reorganize. You don't just switch after
Hmm?
the Salah and Ulbrich shit show and just magically.
I guess we'll see. I think
That's
I
gonna be
think the
fun.
Jets can turn it around pretty quickly. Their defense has some pieces, and they just got a dude on to coach that defense. Like that's a dude. I
Yeah.
don't know about the offensive coordinator. He's the guy that I would have kicked the tires on
Mhm.
this offseason, Tanner Engstrand. I thought
Oh
he was
no,
just
he
going to
was very.
replace.
That was pass game coordinator under Ben Johnson in
Yeah,
Detroit. Like, he's supposed to be one of those next great beautiful minds as well.
I thought
Which
he was just going to take over in Detroit, but then he
yeah.
just boom, he just kicked it over to the Jets, which is an interesting move. But we'll see how that works out. He could just be another one of those, boy genius guys that just flames out because he can't
Mhm.
actually talk to adult human beings.
Right,
Those
like
people
Bobby
exist.
Slowick 1 year is the toast of the town,
Yeah,
and then the next year it's like, oh, you're currently looking for work. So yeah, it's catch as catch can. Always be paying attention, need eyes in the back of your head. This brings me to my last pre-draft question. So I'm not sure if McDaniels was official the last time we talked on the pod. I think we thought it was going to be.
I think we kind
I'm
of knew it was going to happen,
Yeah,
but
Vrabel
yeah,
wasn't even really official at that point. So, regarding working with May, getting the most out of him and revitalizing the offense, none of us know because all we've heard is, oh, McDaniels went on a spiritual football journey
Yeah,
the
he did the
past year.
ayahuasca at Ohio State or whatever the fuck.
Exactly. Oh, and by the way, that the name of that quarterback that we Will Howard.
Will Howard, thank you.
So bookmark it 2 years from now when Will Howard is like, how come everyone slept on Will Howard? God damn it. Boris said that Brady was going to take him in the 4th or 5th and turn him into the next great thing. And
Absolutely.
it'll happen. And the worst thing is Brady, a Michigan guy, Brady is so brilliant, he'll turn a freaking Ohio State Jag
He doesn't give
into
a
a
shit.
superstar. He didn't give a shit. No, I know.
No, he wants to win, dude.
Exactly. What do you think? What do you think about bringing McDaniels back in? And can he be the guy who, between working with what you have on the offensive line and what Doug Marrone does, and we'll get to the draft in a second, the talent you have, and just Drake May's potential, how do you see McDaniels bringing the best of what he had, some of his new tweaks supposedly to the offense, and the talent of May to bringing this offense into like 2025 NFL, we'll say?
Yeah, my favorite thing about it is he's not Alex Van Pelt. Alex Van Pelt was like, I bitched about him all season last year, and it was just one of those things I got a lot of pushback for at the beginning of the season. It was just like, no, it's not Van Pelt, it's not Van Pelt, it's fine. Alex Van Pelt was one of those guys where it was plays over players, and he just ran the play, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's just that's not how the league works, right? McDaniels at least will give May the ammo to change things at the line, figure out what's happening. If the play is not going to work pre-snap, don't run the play. It's as simple as that, right? I don't know what he's going to bring as far as like new Josh McDaniels, because even the people that are saying that you're going to be blown away by Josh McDaniels' new offense, they're still acting like Josh McDaniels is going to draft a 6'8" offensive tackle and needs a scat back and wants tight ends and like they're going through the history of Josh McDaniels trying to figure out what he's going to do. But it's like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Is he going to do what he used to do, or is he going to do something different? Right? If he's going to do something different, then I think there's some decent pieces on the field. Like people are going to be like, you're an asshole, you're an idiot. But like if you use Jalen Polk, like they use Amon-Ra St. Brown and Puka, where it's like he's kind of your fullback on some plays, right? Releasing through the B gap, boom, blocking like a fullback, and then occasionally, boom, through the play action, through the B gap. Now he's doing a crosser, bang, right there, wide open. They do that shit all the time in these modern offenses. I'm hoping to see more of that, right? Like people want Jakob Johnson and this and that and blah blah blah. They need the fullback, and it's like, okay, did he change his offense, or is he going to do something, a little more updated? Because you can use you can use a fullback for sure. Look at Baltimore, right? Baltimore also has a fucking great offensive line. We don't have one. Baltimore also has Derrick Henry. We don't have a Derrick Henry, right? So it's like we need to use what we have. I think Josh McDaniels is really good at taking what we have and using it. Right. I don't think he ran two tight ends because he wanted to run two tight ends. I think he ran two tight ends because he had two great tight ends. Right. I think he ran like the scat back offense where it was just like little running backs running around catching balls because he had those guys and he could put them into place to work. Right. So I think he's good at that. And I hope he does that. Just use what we have, which isn't much, to be honest, and just make it work rather than AVP trying to force people into roles that don't make sense for them personally. That's why guys like Javon Baker can't make the field in an AVP offense. It's just he didn't get it or whatever. It would be nice if they just said, okay, you can do these 2 or 3 things. We'll figure out how to get you on the field to do those 2-3 things all the time. And maybe it'll help the offense, because guess what? It probably will. You get good players in the football field, good things happen, right? Polk, like I said, you can get Polk involved more. I think they need a running back. I'm so deep in the running backs in the draft. It's like if they don't get 1 or 2 running backs out of this draft, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Like I'm gonna lose my cool.
No, seriously, they need to. And you know who I thought of over the weekend? I agree with everything you just said. Like, this is what's in the fridge. Here's what's in the pantry. Stop
Yeah,
wishing
please.
you had this cut of meat or this spice or whatever else to cook with. Like best ingredients available, best just use what you got. And as yes, folks, that you did just hear somebody making a bit of a Jalen Polk defense as well. And if you follow our guy at Boorish,
Am I
BOORISH
getting
_
roasted?
sports. Yeah, no, you'll see. Like, I love it. I want people to go there and just like challenge you on it because like there's an in defense of, or at least see what you have with Jalen Polk. I almost crashed my car driving home the other night because I listened to our buddy Brian Barrett on the Ringer podcast. Off the pike, and he had Todd McShay on, and McShay was like, yeah, listen, with a lot of work and great off season, if he links up with McDaniels in May and really grinds, Jalen Polk can be a really good third receiver. And I thought, you got to be shitting me, like, that's the bet. But right now there's not even really a really good third receiver on the team, so
No,
I'll take it. And if you, like you said, you find a use for him, that would be awesome.
That's all I'm saying is just find a use for your second round pick from a year ago. Like that's it.
Right, that's it.
Like you can't just say, "Oh, it's a waste. It's done. It's over." Like if you
Yep.
need to do that with the seventh round tight end, I don't think you need to. I think you can put Shaheem Bell in like in a functional offense. I think a really creative play caller could. He's a
Mhm.
very athletic kid. Like a lot of people love Harold Fannin, the tight end,
Oh,
coming
because
out
he
of
had like 10,000 catches at
yeah,
Bowling Green for like 1,600
stupid.
yards last year.
Stupid. But like he's a less athletic Jaheim Bell. Like that's what he is. Like size profile, movement a bit. Like it's just like we have that at home. Like we don't need to draft that guy again.
Wait,
We
didn't
have
you
him. We
say
got
that
him in the
about
seventh round.
didn't you say about not getting Cam? See, these are the tweets you put out that like there's too many. I got to bookmark all of them for these pods. Didn't you say about Cam Robinson? You were like, we already have that at home. It's called
Yeah.
Vidarian Lowe.
100%. Like it's the same fucking guy, dude. Like they're just like whatever. Like you don't need that. You don't need Cam Robinson. Like I'm pissed off about like not getting Ronnie Stanley. I'm pissed off about like not being in the mix for Laramie Tunsil. Like that shit drives me insane. But
Mhm,
not getting some like mid-level left tackle that's just going to piss you off.
mhm.
Like week 7, you're gonna hate this fucking guy. Like I promise you're gonna hate this guy. Like you don't need to spend on that. You have that at home. You can just keep Vidarian low and do whatever. But we're gonna replace him in the draft anyway.
Um, would you
Hopefully.
would you would you spend $8 million hoping to get 9 games out of Tyron Smith until?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, see, thank you. Because
Fuck
that
yeah.
was I was banging that drum last offseason, and he ended up playing only 10 games last year, but he was actually good in all 10 games as the PFF grades show out. Now he's a free agent once again. Look, if you get 10 games out of him, that's hoping 10 games later, Membu or Ursary, or I don't think your guy Gray Zabal, he's supposed to be, isn't he?
Oh, he's gonna be
He's a guard,
he's
right?
gonna be a guard or a
He's
center.
a guard or a center. Okay. But just find your other guy, have him literally go everywhere that Tyron Smith goes, except in the shitter, and just listen to everything he has to say. Do what he tells you how to do, because he's made a lot of money playing a
Yeah.
really good left tackle when healthy. And then eventually you take over and prevent us Vidarian lowing ourselves all over
Please.
again. Yeah, I'm with you. Again, Javon Baker, just here are the 3 things you do, and you're going to do them in our offense. And no one's going to expect anything from you because you were a shit show on ice last year, but now you look like something real. And again, if Jalen Polk can actually turn into that, and you can make him, Ocean State job lot Amon-Ra St. Brown this year or next
Fuck
year.
it.
Oh, fuck it. Yeah, let's go. Let's
Yeah,
just roll.
like what's the downside? Like to me, the downside is wasting a second round pick that you already invested in. Like, why do
Mhm.
that? Why just punt on that? Like people are like, oh, bring in Godwin as the power slot. And it's like, just use Polk as the power slot. See
Yeah.
what happens, right?
Uh,
Like everyone compared him to Jacoby Myers, like coming out of the draft, and then you don't play him like Jacoby Myers, and then you're like, this guy sucks. It's like, how about we try playing him like Jacoby Myers first and
mhm.
see if he actually sucks?
But I
Because
thought we
he
want to
might be
trade
okay.
for Jacoby Myers. Like, no, you
I
might
can't keep
have him.
up.
Honestly. Hey, so all right, let's get into the draft stuff, because now that you were talking about drafting some running backs, we'll do a quick chat on the draft and wrap this puppy up.
Yeah.
Once again, this is at 6 Rings Pod, your old pal at FitzyGFY with at Boorish Sports, talking Patriots offseason roster moves, and now in the final leg of the podcast, the 2025 NFL draft to come, who we love, who we don't, who you got to get, who you got to stay far away from, and how Boorish sees the first couple of spots shaken out. All right. So you want to get some running backs first and foremost.
Yeah,
Tell-
not early. I wouldn't do the Genty at 6.
No,
I wouldn't
no,
do
no,
that.
we're
Or
not
Genty
trading-
at 4.
No, No,
No,
that's
I'm good on that.
not it. You have too many needs. You have too much blue chip. He was also
Yeah.
rode hard and put away pretty used over the last couple of years. And he's gonna
He'll be
listen.
good. He'll be good.
He's an electric talent, but we
Yeah,
just
I like him.
you can't take him that high.
I like him a lot. If we had a real line, like
Mhm.
if we did what Chicago did this offseason, let's go.
Oh, by
Like
the way,
I'd be
winner
fine
of
with it.
the winner of free agency in the offseason, Ben Johnson. He literally identified like our offensive line was legendarily bad. We are going to get, picking up Tooney and then the guy from the Rams and then getting
Huge.
Dahlman. Like they now have a badass
Huge.
line. And one of my good buddies is a Bears fan. Me and he and I and Mike and the kids went to the Bears Pats game where they got 9 of their 19 sacks last year. Their line was beyond atrocious. It was insulting, and that's
brutal.
even to a
Yeah.
Pats fan. So they did that, and that's exactly what the Pats need to do. They've done a little bit of that work, but they've obviously got a lot more to go.
For sure.
I did see in thinking like, okay, Vrabel, obviously we're not going to have Derrick Henry, but I think he would probably love to have a scat back and a punishing back. I don't know if you have that with Gibson and Ramondre, but I love the Ohio State running backs, and I was watching that Quinshon Judkins workout where he looks like Derrick Henry 2.0, and I was like, don't make me fall. Don't make me, guy.
Don't do it. That's one
Don't
of those
do it.
guys that like everyone loves except for me. So I'm gonna be like the asshole if Quinshon Judkins becomes a monster. I'm the asshole that was like, you hated Quinshon Judkins, you idiot. But it's like I just don't see it, man. I don't
That'll
see
be
him
your
creating.
Bedard Gronkowski take where he's
Oh,
like,
absolutely. I
Gronkowski
don't
at
see it at
42.
all.
I just don't see it at all.
And that's it's gonna be it because like I love running backs that can create on their own, right?
Mhm,
Like Judkins is the guy that's like 3 yards in a cloud of smoke, right? Like
mhm.
he takes what the offensive line blocks for him, and then it's kind of it seems like it's done. He's not forcing missed tackles. He's not getting a ton after contact. He's not terrible at that stuff, but there's plenty of guys that are really, really good at that stuff that I would prioritize over him. And athleticism at running back, I don't give a shit about. So him blowing up the combine, don't care. His physique, I don't really care.
Mhm.
That kind of shit just doesn't seem to translate all that much when it comes to the running back position specifically. And that's what like I tweeted out before the combine that I was like 3 guys I'm going to be higher on: RJ Harvey, DJ Giddens, and Basil Tootin, right? Basil Tootin blew up the fucking combine. Like no one had a better combine than him. But I'm not. That doesn't move the needle for me. Like it just doesn't change my evaluation of that guy. If you're, it shouldn't. Athleticism in running backs is just like you can kind of see it on the field, and if it doesn't translate on the field, and you're seeing like a lot of the stuff. Quinshon Judkins is a very athletic dude. Dylan Sampson, I see you. I get it. I totally get it, but offense is bizarre where they're just not running like dudes into like stacked boxes or anything. Like he's just running into like 6 people every play. Like it's just that's the way it is. Like if it's I'm going on a tangent. I can't read the bottom left shit. I'm out of that.
Yeah, no, don't worry. That's me.
I'm
That's
too
me sharing that
scatterbrained
with
to do that.
That's me sharing that with the audience as well. But like, I hear
Get me
you.
back
Like,
on track.
I too want a power guy, and maybe you still have another power season left out of Ramondre. I don't know. And I like Antonio Gibson, but I see him more as like as a utility weapon. I want a power back of the future, but I also want somebody. I just want a small, fast guy. I
Yeah,
just want somebody that when they get like, that's why I like Henderson was so good the last half
I
of the
love
season
him.
with Ohio
Yeah,
State. Travion Henderson, and if you give him a spot and he can slip between two people, that's that. Like to the house he goes. I gotta do some more work on Tootin, Giddens, and Harvey. But it seems like everyone who's watching live right now in our chat when we record the latest pod, are into them as well. Like you can't ignore it this year. Like and
you
this
can't. Absolutely not. Yeah,
you can't. But this will be interesting because now we get into what was going on in Gillette this weekend. The Patriots had their draft party. It was the McCourtys, Field Yates, Mike Reese, etc., talking to season ticket holders. And Elliot Wolf came out and continued his sort of mea culpa tour. I'm not sure if that's trying to win back the trust of Pat's Nation, securing his job with the Crafts and Mike Vrabel, and proving that he deserves to be in the same room with Ryan Cowden, or a combination therein. But he did fess up and say, last year we went too needs-based, and this year we are going to stick to the BPA model. It's going to be best player available. We're just going to fill this football team with talent. But you can't ignore, you can't take, well, then you're not going to take 9 quarterbacks or 9 cornerbacks. Like there are obviously some needs you're going to address. But
Oh, of
talent over need would be, that's the Yahoo auto draft model that I think this team has been sorely out on for the past decade plus, and I think that would be huge.
Yeah, like if like that's why like people are like, are they going to take Abdul Carter if Abdul Carter falls to 4? And it's like they better like just take him. Like that's the most like I have the word no brainer muted on Twitter because I hate no brainer takes. Like literally every variation of the combination of no brainer, I'll never see it. You can send it to me, it'll just get filtered out. I don't like the term no brainer. Abdul Carter at 4, like if you pass on him, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. Like the dumbest shit. I don't want to call it a no-brainer pick, but it's a no-brainer pick. Like
Right.
just get it done. Like even if like you like Membu, like I love Membu. I've loved Membu since I started watching him. I think people are finally coming around to the terms like the fact that he might be OT1, even if you have to move
Yeah.
him to the left side. And if they want to go by need and actually take him at 4, totally. Like it is what it is. But they're going by need. They're not going best player available at that point. If they pass on Hunter or Carter, right?
Yeah.
If anyone else is there, best player available and need become like the same thing. It's Membu, it's Membu, it's Membu. Just make the pick. Because if he can't switch to left, oh well, you get a 10-year right tackle, which is equally valuable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be training under Moses
Morgan
for
Moses.
like
Yeah.
2 years, right? Perfect, love it. Um, the thing with Campbell's arms, I can't get behind it. I can't do it. That
Mm-mm.
wingspan, can't do it. And then
That's a
like the
guard. He's
one.
Zach Martin at best, honestly.
But
Like,
even the
which is a
guard
good guard.
stuff, I'm worried about the guard stuff, dude. So like if you draft a guard at number 4, right? You're paying him the 11th most money at the guard position. Is he going to be the 11th best guard in the league? Probably not. That dude plays super upright. Like that was one of the knocks on him all year was he plays really upright. For a tackle, you can get away with that when you have that athleticism. If you're playing guard and you're playing that upright, man, you're going to get planted a couple times and it's going to look foolish.
Right.
So I'm worried about even moving him to guard, especially if they're going to be paying him like top 15 guard money right out of the gate.
Mhm.
That could be a big setback. I'm
I'm
not.
out on that.
The draft is about making bets. That could completely blow up in my face. Oh, he's fucking, and he turns out to be good, and you can say I'm an idiot, and that's fine. But it's like I'll give you like 30% chance that works out. I'd rather bet on the 70% chance that it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
With the 4th pick. So it's just about making sound bets, and that's not a sound bet. I would rather take Membu, move him to the left side, and see if that can work out.
Yeah. Now, one of our viewers right now says, "Hey, Matt Light didn't have big arms." I understand that as well. Yeah. And I don't see the can't miss potential, if you will, the sorry, no brainerism of the Will
Mhm.
Campbell take. Like, sorry, Kelvin Banks fell back a little bit. My whole dream for the Patriots, if Carter or Hunter are not available at 4, just trade back a little bit, then take, go back a couple spots if it's possible. Take Membu or take somebody else that you think can have an impact on the offense. Tackle. I don't think it's going to be a receiver, obviously, with that too high. And then with your picks, trade back into the end of the first round and find somebody else that is a receiver, that's a running back or whoever. It's Omari and Hampton. If it's Matthew Golden, who is a smooth runner with great speed, could be the
Jaden
best wide
Higgins.
receiver. Jaden Higgins, who
is
I
a
love
dude,
out
yeah.
of Iowa State. Like, you're going to
That's a
get
dude.
95% of Tet McMillan for 50% of the price, maybe even more at that point as well.
That's a dude.
He is a dude for sure. Those Iowa State receivers this year could be impact players. And I also like Ibuka, the receiver out of
Oh yeah.
Ohio State. He's just not a top off guy. He's again, within the 2025, but also like doesn't drop the ball and knows where to go without having to be told too much at a young age. But let's get it there real quick. Pat Stats says, the way I see it going, I see Ward, Sanders, Hunter, Carter. Is that how you have it? Because is that your bookmark tweet?
Yeah, I have what do I have? I have Ward, Sanders, Travis Hunter, and then us getting Abdul Carter. Yeah.
And there's I can't find a reason why people wouldn't be excited about that. Even if you're like, oh, by the way, you guys started the podcast. You got Keon White, Anthony Jennings, Harold Landry. Look, Abdul
You just
Carter will
watch
be.
like Philly win with a fucking second round QB that everyone like thinks is mid. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, you have Drake May and you have a fucking top 5 defense. You can get some shit done. You know what I mean? Like, you can
Yeah.
just get some shit done. So I'm fine with defense. I love defense. I load up the front seven, baby. Load it up.
Yeah, see, look, I would love look, Tyler Warren would be great. Yes, Daniel Cardwell watching live on Twitter right now. Yeah, he'd be great. He's maybe they could get him if they trade back to 7. If you want to get risky, you grab him and then you trade
That's a
back in for a tackle
luxury.
later. But it does feel like a luxury, Adam. That's not the need right now. Like Abdul Carter from the playoffs where he only had one arm available and still dominated, to all the games this year where he just blew up offensive line single-handedly. Like the best guy against him this year was Ursary, and even he still only won like 50% of his reps against him. Like the guy is an absolute freak of nature. That's a
Yeah.
game changer. When you talk about blue chip talent, that's blue chip game changing talent.
And if you go back a year, you can watch him play basically off ball linebacker, and he's all over the field. Like his coverage is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Greg.
No, he loves it. You're a keeper.
Oh, I'm
People
a
are like,
keeper.
yeah,
I
wait.
couldn't see the bottom. All
No,
right.
it's great. Like Greg Donnie, who's a regular listener and viewer here on Six Rings, and he's like, this guy's a keeper. By the way, I know you always crush a Celsius.
Yeah.
We may have to try to see if we can get an energy drink sponsor for your appearances. But
So
people in the chat box 20 minutes ago were like, low key, this is awesome. Fitzy, your guest is drinking White Claw.
No, not yet. We could do like an after dark one where I just like I'll finish like one of these and then I'll pound a couple White Claws and we'll be fucking good to go, baby.
What do you think? Okay, so let's say Carter goes third, or even Carter goes second, and let's say Cleveland's like, we'll find a quarterback later. We're gonna do Myles Garrett, Abdul Carter, and good luck to everybody, right? And then the Giants are like, well, it's gonna be we'll have Jameis throwing to Travis Hunter. The most entertaining shit show in football this year, by the way, is absolutely going to be the Giants.
Oh,
If it's
absolutely.
Malik Neighbors, Jameis Winston, and whoever they add, oh hell yeah, let's go. So let's say they take Travis Hunter. Or maybe they get Carr. I don't know. Like, would you take Travis Hunter at 4? Are you in? Like,
Oh yeah,
okay,
100%.
okay,
Absolutely. Yeah, like people that are saying he's not the best wide receiver in the class, you're wrong. People that are saying he's not the best corner in the class, you're also wrong.
right.
Like this is a guy we can absolutely find a spot for. I would prefer to play him at corner with like moonlighting on offense, but for our team, I honestly think it's probably the other way around. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's probably
Agreed.
going to end up being like a wide receiver first just for us because we're
Mm-hmm.
so bereft of talent on that side. So yes, 100% I would take Hunter, like run up the card. Done deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, don't even think about it as well. But he's got small shows. He's a little frail. Like, guy had 96 catches on offense for 1,300 yards and over a dozen touchdowns last year, and he was doing that while he played a full season of corner. And yes, I do understand it was for Colorado against mid-level collegiate talent. But one thing that Peter Schrager pointed out on NFL Network was the people that were around him and that love him say, think about this. If you draft him and you decide to play him at cornerback and have a moonlight at receiver, you have a cornerback who's great at cornerback, but also thinks like a receiver because he spends time in 2 rooms. When you have him at receiver, you have a great receiver who could be the next Chad Johnson, who also spends time moonlighting as a slot or outside corner, who can think like a corner to win on those routes because he already plays there as well. Like
He
you're
does
getting,
think like both. That's the thing. Like he
yeah,
needs more refinement as a wide receiver, I think. But like his ball skills are unbelievable. So he plays cornerback like a wide receiver. So he has the same odds of catching the ball if you throw it towards him as the wide receiver does, in my opinion. Like if he's close enough, my God, he's going to make a play on that ball. He's a special kid. Like I don't like
yeah.
the generational tag. I think that puts too much on these players, and they throw it out every year. This guy's generational. That guy's generational. Most of them don't pan out, right? So even this guy, I'm not throwing that out because it's just not fair to him. But the dude can do some special stuff on a football field, and like you said, he thinks both ways. He thinks like a receiver and a corner, so it helps him on both sides of the ball.
I think Hunter's actually going to play. I think it's going to be like an 80-20 sitch for him probably, or even an 85-15 at first. And then ultimately, if your team ends up with a need at corner, okay, then get some more receivers and you can switch them over there. The Pats are good at corner now. with Davis and Gonzo as well. But he gives you flexibility and talent, and he's smarter and sharper than anyone gives him credit for.
The
Beau,
Patriots are going to play a lot of zone. He's going to be.
yeah.
They could use him for sure as a corner. I just think he would be, if it's 80-20, the 80 would be on the receiver side for the Patriots at this point.
Is there a kid from one of our regular viewers, Jeff Stenberg, was that ECU, East Carolina University? Some kid named you ever heard of Revel?
Oh, Shavon Ravel, I believe
Ravel,
is his name. I haven't done a ton of work on him. Like, honestly, he got injured at some point, so I don't have any tape on him or anything like that. But from what I know, is he's up there as far as like a lot of people I trust. That he's a pretty legitimate player at corner. But the way where he's going to go, I don't know if they're going to go corner at that point anymore. I
Right.
think that's a little high. Like, I love Darian Porter out of Iowa State. He's just a big, fast kid that can play like in a heavy zone system. I just don't think we go. I don't think we pick unless he falls to like 77. I don't think we're gonna take him. And I'm not one of these guys that's like, oh, he won't be available at this pick. He won't be available at that pick. It's like, dude, we got Christian Gonzalez at 17. Like,
Oh my
anyone can
God.
fall.
Washington still we should be sending, even though the Commanders could very well be a Super Bowl contender this year with the way they've gone about their offseason, we should be sending them edible arrangements, Harry and David's pears, my grandmom's coffee cake, whatever else, because like taking Forbes and giving us Gonzo, one of the great all-time draft bed shittings. And
yeah, hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious. Dude, awesome pod. Phenomenal intel. We're gonna need to we'll have to pick it up afterwards. Maybe the week after the draft, we can jump back in and we can take a look at everything and see what they got, how they can deploy them, and make some outrageous predictions for a record early on or before, whatever works for you, man.
12-5, baby. Let's go.
Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Unless they draft Quinshawn Judkins and Will Campbell, then we're fucked. Then it's then flip that.
Fuck it. Any last names you want to throw out there for any of our listeners or viewers to just sort of like do a little homework on that you're high on
for draft?
Yeah,
I'm talking draft specifically. I like guys like I think safety is a big deal. I would look into Xavier Watts, Andrew Makuba, Jonas Sankers, my dude. Sankers from Virginia. I think it's Virginia, not Virginia Tech. Virginia. Just seems like the type of guy that would eat in this defense. Deep safety. Look into him because I really like him, and I think Vrabel would like a guy like him. I don't think they're done in the trenches, even if they do like get Abdul Carter in the first round. If they get him on at number 4, I would look at guys that can like maybe 2-gap in a pinch. Tyleik Williams is probably going to be a little too rich. If they do go defense in the first round, I don't think they're going to get Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle in the second. But like, think of like guys like CJ West from Indiana, hell of a player, and Jamari Caldwell from Oregon. That kid can play, and they can put a little pressure on the QB, but like you can't just build the whole thing out of one gapping like pressure guys. So they need somebody that can 2-gap in a pinch. They kind of got rid of all those guys, but I think their plan is to reset at that position, so they're not really investing in that position outside of rookie contracts. So I would think that they're going to target somebody like that in like the 5th or 6th, day 3.
Okay. All right. Rock solid. There's a couple extra names. You guys always get some homework assignments and a little extra something to take away without having to get behind a paywall when your old pal Fitzy at FitzyGFY jumps on the 6 Rings machine and has somebody as informative, entertaining, and unfiltered, because you guys like the swear word. So it's good to know as we continue expanding the 6 Rings empire. Beau from @BoerSports. Great chat, man. Thank you so much for the time as always.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch. Look forward to having you back here. Thanks for participating, for watching, for listening. Make sure you tell your friends. Our fast-growing Pats fan community is right here on the 6 Rings podcast. Use the Odyssey app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever you want to use to find awesome football talk. Until the next episode, as always, energy drink first, claw it up later. Have a great day, everybody. Good times ahead. And as always, God bless. Go Pats.